Hello, everyone. Dr. Vicky here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center. I was sitting here in my office pondering the future, and I thought I would do a reading on the U.S., January for the U.S. So let's take a look and see what kind of energies we'll see, what we need to know about January. There was an indication that things were really going to get crazy in January, which for many of us seemed like, well, things are already crazy. Like, what could crazy mean if things are already crazy? Well, uh, today is the second, and there have already been, a terror, I guess, a terrorist attack, but it was homegrown terrorism, right? Because the guy was American, and there was the truck, the one of those Tesla trucks. Forget what you call them. The car that I drive is from 2005, so you know how high up on the list of knowing the name of cars might be for somebody like myself. So, so we've already kind of started with the bang. All right, so we have agreements. We're starting with agreements. We're starting with, honestly, I think that it feels to me like, especially since this whole HG1 or whatever it is, the visa situation, the work visa situation came up, and Trump um, took the side of the the visas are good, and that would be Musk's side, right? Muskegee's side. Uh, I think that you have the Democrats, and then you have the MAGAs, the sort of true believers. There's um, thinking that, this guy was the guy, and now they're realizing that he's not. And so, because of the choice so far, because of I mean, it's still early. We know where this is somebody who changes his mind, like most people um, change their tissue when they have one of those colds that you go through three boxes of tissues with, right? So, but I think what it's done is it's brought people to realize that we have similar, that plus I think also the um, Mario Brothers guy who, you know, you know who I'm talking about, right? Um, that that we're seeing, where even though we were like backing different horses, we're seeing the commonality that we are experiencing. And I think that certainly the progressive Democrats have always seen that, the commonality, but um, I'm not sure. I don't think, because of the sort of brainwashing that they went through, that the MAGAs or the people on that side of the aisle, because they weren't getting. I mean, our information was skewed as well. We're not kidding ourselves here. Um, but it wasn't. I don't think it was flat out lies. I don't think it was flat out lies like it was on the other side. So they just got misinformed. But we have the same issues: affordability, working and wanting to get ahead. This is the land of opportunity. People come here so they have a chance. And it's like the rich are shutting down all the avenues for chance. So what I would say that as we start this January right now, we're actually coming to understand the commonalities that we share, the reality that we share without necessarily, and of course it happens, but not necessarily assigning blame, like, oh, it's because of Biden. And it's because of Harris. Like Harris had any power when she was the vice president. They don't call you the vice president for nothing, right? She was president for like what? The 20 minutes that he was under for a colonoscopy. So anyway, here I go. Um, so let's see the challenge to this new, maybe perhaps sense of wow, you too, right? Wow, we're both feeling this, right? This is like, right, like suddenly light oh yeah, okay. And the challenge is not to lose our freaking minds. This is lunacy. It is a time of lunacy. It's a time of lunatics. I think we're going to see people who are just so emotionally overwrought. You have to remember that we're dealing with energy, right? So we're feeling this energy. Those of us who aren't emotionally like messed up or, or super religious or like this, people are all losing their minds really, um, at whatever level they happen to be, and backing whatever level, backing whatever causes or religions or whatever it is that they. So it's not necessary. We can't point at this guy who unfortunately, ran over 13 people. Um, like he's what he did was absolutely not right. We can say that. But he's reacting to the energy that we're reacting to. It's just depends on how wounded you are, how integrated you are. And there's a lot of wounded people out there that continuously get wounded through a lot of it has to do with the conditioning that they underwent as children or the societal conditioning. And as we move into the Pluto in Aquarius, it's less about like what somebody at the top says is right. It's more about like group affiliation. It's more about group affiliation. And so without like the cop on the beat, then all these groups have to learn how to coexist and how to talk to each other, right? But right now in January, the challenge is that people are just out of their minds. And uh, this is this is a trauma response, really. Trauma response. For those of us who lived through the first dump thing, that was trauma. We got traumatized every day. When he the thing that they said he won, um, we were hit again. Yet again, we find ourselves on our ass with the rug pulled out from under us. Um, was it our own wishes that were driving us on that path? Is that path still viable? Are we still surfing that? We don't know. We don't know because we don't know what tomorrow is going to bring, honestly. And the only thing we do know is that if we want to get through this, we're going to get through it together, right? And I think that's what these two cards are kind of pointing to. All right, let's see what's at the root of the issue. Always, almost my favorite card in the reading, because that's the real question. It's really a question of justice. People are tired of people in power getting away with uh, travesties of justice. It's in at the root is injustice. Whether you feel injustice because um, you're a Palestinian American whose grandmother is getting bombed and starved, or are you um, a woman who wants to show her hair in Iran, or just puts her hat on wrong? Um, the women of Afghanistan aren't even allowed, they're not allowed to leave the house. And I don't think they're allowed to talk to each other or something. It's crazy, right? The injustice of what's happening in places like Africa or Sudan, or, just add like the Ukraine, right? Or what's happening in Georgia, or what's happening as Abergine, I can't even say it, the ABJ, blah, blah, blah. Sorry, it's not a blah, blah, blah. I realize it's a country and they have every right to be. So it's not that. That at the root of it is justice. And it could very well be that we will see justice, some sort of justice, some sort of evening of the scales this month. In the past, yeah, well, that's pretty much what we felt like, right? Uh, just, doing our best, going with our not being able to see, avoiding perhaps some of the negative thoughts, following our intuition, trying to get out of a bind. Some of us imprisoned by our own thoughts, right? The past. In the sky, if you don't like, uh, if you're so involved in what's right in front of you and you're not looking around for the blessings, there are blessings all over the place. And this is I think this is a reminder from Spirit that if you need to look up. Go look like this, go like that, right? Stop looking down. Don't be depressed. Don't be this, especially in this deck. This woman is shut down and she's got her hands over her solar plexus. She's got her noise canceling headphones, listening to what music she wants to listen to, right? She's totally ignoring what's right in front of her in this card anyway, and what's being offered to her. So I think the suggestion, or maybe that's just the way it is right now. That's the way people are kind of shut off, um, and shut down. And, sometimes a shock will take you out of that state, right? Okay. We have the Empress in the immediate future. Empress, this is an energy of abundance. It's the energy of the goddess. Um, it's fertile. It's Venus. See the big heart there? That's symbol. Well, actually, usually there's a Venus symbol somewhere in the card, although I don't see it here. But certainly, the heart. This, you know, I know a lot of people see Russia as the Empress card, maybe Mother Russia, but I don't see it like, as the leader there, Vlad. I'm going to be more positive than say Russia, because Russia enemy, the enemy you see in the mirror is you, right? So what is Russia doing that you don't like? Taking over countries, being a bully, taking stuff that's not theirs. Does America do that? Sure we do, right? Okay, let's see how it's seen from the outside. Strength. So I feel like out observers of what's going on in the world, or what's going on in the maybe in the US, I guess, because this is the US reading. So there's a lot of abundance in maybe the stock market's going to do well or something, because there's a lot of abundance in January. How it's seen from the outside, that we're strong, that we have strength. Well, that's nice. In the domestic situation, we have the Queen of Cups. This is about nurturance. It's about self-nurturance. It's about psychic senses, right? It's funny. Well, it's maybe just to this deck, but all the cards in the so far have been women in the cards. Interesting lineup. And of course, this is the Queen of Cups. This is about understanding your feelings, understanding your emotions, taking care of yourself, taking care of others, being kind. Hopes and fears, the Knight of Wands. I think this is fearing religious fundamentalism, right? And in this case, well, I guess I don't know, it's hard to say, but we could think of the guy in New Orleans, but also like the Christian, there are Christian ones with their guns and whatever, you know what I mean? So this is just I think a fear of extremism or extreme action. The outcome, we get the Five of Wands, so there is going to be there's a lot of battling. They'll still be battling between the two sides, the two political sides. Let's see if we can get a major arcana. But there's also people just attending to the work that needs to be done. I feel like people are sort of are preparing for maybe something coming, and so they're stocking up, they're doing things like that in January. And then we have the Ten of Pentacles, which is family money, dynasty money from like family dynasties. So a lot of money coming in that way. And then I believe there's going to be some people who don't agree with that and they take action against the wealth as the folk are fighting. They're realizing, I think, I think what's happening is they're realizing who their real enemy is. And maybe that's what this is about. Underneath it, we get the Queen of Pentacles, uh, the Six of Pentacles, and death, change, transformation. So it seems like there's somebody here who wants to um, not even the score, but have the score be evened. Maybe pay what is due, and that creates a change. So, I mean, I can't imagine this is true, but maybe E. and Carol will get her money from the cheapskate. Yeah, I think there's going to be more of this sort of class stuff, along with, people just struggling and acting out on that struggle. We have a pretty potent opposition between Pluto and Mars, and it's at its height the 3rd, tomorrow. I'm doing this on the 2nd. And then it's still powerful, but it's not exact, and it's going to back up because Mars is moving backwards. So it's going to move into Cancer on January 6th. A Mars retrograde in Leo kind of, I might describe it as a toddler having a temper tantrum, right? And so we can see, Elon Musk having a temper tantrum right now, or Bannon having a temper tantrum. Everybody's having these temper tantrums, right? But then Mars is going to move into Cancer, and it goes from ego to feelings and hurt feelings and feelings of needing safety and security. And so people are going to be really uh, I think I don't want to like inward, like it's inward action. It's action that has to come from a real exploration of your feelings, and really really look at things that are happening and say, how does this make me feel? And get in a way, get the head out of the game and put the heart in the game and start feeling the feels. And I think when people actually stop to feel, because most people are like this, right? They're shut down, they're shut off, they're doing their thing. even I say to you guys on occasion, don't obsess about it. It's a good to, if you want to know what's going on, that's fine. And I think you need to know what's going on. Um, but you don't want to get obsessed with it because you have a life and that's where your power lies, right? In the life that you're living. And you can do things in this life that can affect those things that you disagree with. But you have to attend to, home first in a way. And I think Mars in Cancer is going to do that. And then it turns around on February 23rd and starts its way back through Cancer. So then there's action, forward action on things like security and family and the like. And then it goes into Leo. Um, and then in April, it opposes Pluto for the last time in this cycle. So the first time it opposed Pluto was 2 days before the election. It was the 3rd of November. And then the third, is it the third or the second? The third or second, depends, I think, where you live. Um, Opposition between Mars and Pluto. And then in April is the last one. So oppositions are here to bring awareness. And so I think the one before the election might have been awareness of where the people were at because we had an election and supposedly the election went the way the election went, but it was still very close. It was still very close. And I think that the fact that it went to the right, to the red side, red is an alarm. Red is a thing. And the blue was like everything's going to be great. We're going to get together. We're going to do this. And I think that and of course the blue sees the danger in the climate crisis. But that's so big, right? Whereas the red sees the danger of a world disrupted and people who have less really even than us wanting more and all of this tumultuousness. So I think that we're going to people more and more people are going to wake up and people are waking up to who's really pulling the strings here, who's really making the rules and how it's affecting them or in a positive or negative way. And because of the hierarchical system, right? There's a whole lot more people not being served. So this whole system is completely top heavy and will undergo like a, but it's a necessary one. It's a necessary one. In America, we are the richest country ever, but only 5 people own the money. It's only 5 people's money. So we're not no country. We're not the richest country. We just happen to be the place where the richest people, I guess, live, who own the most and take advantage of the system the most, because that's what they do. Can't be that big and not and pull profit out of the system, really. Instead of putting the profit in the system. What do these people need this money for? They couldn't use it in 1,000 lifetimes, the kind of money they have. For what? It's starting, guys. The realization, the healing, the coming back together. This is intense times that we're in. I want you to all be really careful out there. Don't obsess on that stuff. Take precautions. Everybody takes different precautions depending on where they live. And you should live that way anyway. I mean, I grew up in the city. You didn't just willy-nilly go down any street. You knew where you were going most of the time. Or you kept your eyes open real wide. You'd always park under a light. You'd never park next to a van. The things you learn when you grow up in the city. You can't have nice hubcaps. I had these beautiful hubcaps on my first car. Gone. Gone. I don't think it took a month. They were so nice. Anyway, uh, that was many years ago. So that's what I see, guys. We'll look again next month. I think maybe I'll try to do this every month. I know you guys like the card readings. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. Take care, everyone. Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow. Oops. Uh-oh. Where'd I go? I lost myself. Jeez. Jeez, Louise. Okay. Take care, everyone.